The wedding, Xander finally got to marry the woman he'd been obsessed with for 7 years. But right before the vows, his eyes kept going back to the bridesmaid. The officiant asked him a question he didn't answer. Sophie, standing right next to him, started to panic. She rushed the officiant to keep going because she knew better than anyone that bridesmaid was the one who'd actually been by Xander's side for the past 7 years. Everyone assumed Grace was the most important person to Xander. Only Grace knew the truth. She was just a stand-in. 7 years ago, Sophie left the country, and Xander took everything he felt and put it all on Grace. Every time he missed Sophie, Grace was the one standing next to him. But even then, she never got treated like she mattered. Once Sophie came back, it became even more obvious. One time, Sophie got a blister from her heels. Xander lost it. He threw the shoes out on the spot, got her a brand new pair. But when Grace fell in public, all she got was a scolding. He didn't even reach out to help her up, and then Sophie made Grace go dig those old shoes out of the trash. Grace didn't say anything. She picked them up, said thank you. Like she'd been through it so many times, she barely reacted anymore. Nobody knew. The person actually holding the Xander group together was her years ago. When the company was falling apart, Xander's grandfather was on his deathbed. He handed the company to Grace, asked her to help Xander keep it alive. The agreement was 8 years. Over those years, the company went from nearly bankrupt to thriving. Grace was the one behind all of it, but Xander never saw it. Instead, he trusted Sophie more and more. He pulled Grace from her position, handed all the decision-making power to Sophie, who had zero experience. And this time Grace was done cleaning up after everyone, because the 8-year agreement was almost up. Sophie officially took over the company. Day 1, she went straight after Grace, sent her on coffee runs, treated her like an entry-level assistant. Xander saw it happen. He didn't stop it. He asked Sophie if she was feeling okay. He had every one of her food preferences memorized, but he forgot Grace was allergic to seafood. At dinner, Sophie made a point of telling Grace to eat the seafood dish. Grace didn't react. Xander snapped at her for being ungrateful. Then a bowl of stomach-soothing soup arrived, just for Grace, from Ethan, the one who'd been quietly keeping an eye on her. Xander didn't pick up on any of it. He just accused Grace of putting on a show. And Sophie kept pushing further. She took over Grace's office, threw her trophies and project files on the floor. When Xander walked in, he didn't ask what happened. Sophie cried. That was enough for him to force Grace to apologize. At this point, there were only 5 days left on the 8-year agreement. Then a new problem surfaced. Sophie pushed hard to invest in a company called Apex Tech. Grace submitted a full risk report, called out serious red flags. Sophie didn't listen. She pushed through the deal. Xander backed her up. The contract got signed, and the Xander group just planted a time bomb inside its own walls. On the other side, Grace had already started preparing to leave. She quietly filed her resignation, had everything planned out, even had a date set, the day after Xander's wedding, to go sign her own marriage certificate. And then the wedding day came. The 8-year agreement officially ended, and Xander was marrying Sophie. Everyone thought things were finally falling into place. Then it all blew up. A crowd of investors stormed the wedding venue. The Apex Tech deal had collapsed. The company's cash flow was gone. The entire investment was wiped out. The whole place erupted into chaos, and every signed document had Sophie's name on it. When people started demanding answers, Sophie had nothing, couldn't say a single thing. Xander for the first time had no idea what to do, but in that moment, the person he reached for was still Grace, because for 8 years, every time things fell apart, she was the one who fixed it. This time he called her, no answer. His assistant walked over and handed him a document, her resignation, already in effect. The second he saw it, Xander finally realized she had warned him about every single one of these risks, but this time she didn't stay to clean it up outside the venue. A car was parked and waiting. Ethan was already there. Grace walked out with her luggage. She didn't look back. 8 years. She kept the company alive for the Xander family, paid back everything she felt she owed, and Xander only figured out what he lost when the whole thing was on the verge of collapse. She was never just a stand-in. She was the one who held it all together. If you were Xander and you finally saw the truth, do you even deserve a second chance?